Good morning. Today we will be uh, learning the poem The Voice of the Rain by Walt Whitman. This is a beautiful poem by Walt Whitman, who was an American poet, journalist, and essayist of the 19th century. He is considered to be one of the greatest poets who had paid tribute to John F. Kennedy by writing a poem. It's considered to be a eulogy. He had written many poems, and the best collection of his poems is Leaves of Grass. This poem, the Song of the Rain, was published in first it was published in a periodical called Outing in 1885, and it was reprinted in the Leaves of Grass. Right? It is in a free verse. Free verse means there is no rhyme scheme, and the voice of the rain is about the rain which has been personified by the poem, which tells you about the nourishing power, the rejuvenating power of the rain, how the rain affects each one's life, how it makes us happy, and how it restores the beauty and the purity of the earth. So, this poem starts with a conversation between the poet and the rain. The first two lines are spoken by the poet. He says, "And who art thou?" It starts with an interrogative sentence. The poet asks the rain, "Who are you? Who art thou?" It is archaic English. It was used in the 18th and 19th century, which was later changed. Like thou was changed to you, and the conversation between the poet and the rain, where the poet asks the question, who are you, who art thou, who are you, to the soft falling shower. The rain is falling very softly. You can see the imagery here when you visualize this, right? The soft falling shower. It gives you a very wonderful experience, a very beautiful experience. The poet says, "Which strange to tell me, gave me an answer as here translated." The poet says, "I did not expect any answer, but it was very strange that the rain gave the answer to the poet, and as you cannot understand, I am here to translate what the rain said to me." Right? So he says, "As here translated." Then the scene changes, where the poet is translating what the rain had said to the poet. Now here the conversation is between the rain and the poet. So first two lines are told by the poet. The next lines are told by the rain. But as normal human beings, we cannot understand what the rain says. So the poet says, "I am, for your ease, I am translating it for you." The rain says, "I am the poem of earth," said the voice of the rain. The rain says, "I am the poem of the earth." Poem is considered to be the most beautiful creation in literature. Right? In literary word, writing poetry is very difficult. It is considered to be very difficult because it is the emotions that we project ourselves. We write in words, in very brief. Right? So it is the most beautiful creation of a person. So as the poem is the most beautiful thing, the rain is also the most beautiful thing. The rain continues to say, "Eternal I rise impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea." upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed, and yet the same. I descend to lave the draughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe. Now here the total water cycle has been explained in the form of a poetry, right? The rain says eternal, that means I don't die, I just change my form. Eternal, I rise impalpable. Impalpable is which cannot be touched, right? I am impalpable and I rise from the land and the bottomless sea, right? The sea which is bottomless. There is so much of water in the sea. There is so much of water on the land, in the rivers, in the streams, in the lakes, everywhere, right? All those water that is stored in different water bodies, they are all evaporated with the heat of the sun. So the water rises upward. Now see how beautifully the poet has said that it rises upward to the heaven. Heaven is a place which is considered to be the most beautiful place, where you don't have any pain, right? You don't have any grief. So it rises towards the heaven. That is, it is the most beautiful creation. It rises to a place where it is going to live very happily, right? Now when it rises upward, where what happens? Whence, that is where it changes its form, right? It changes its form. It rises in the form of vapors which cannot be touched, and then it changes into water droplets to be stored in the clouds, right? Here it is changed, but it remains the same, right? It is the water. It is the water that was in the sea. It is the water which was on the land. It has evaporated and it has formed into water droplets to be stored in the water. And when that cloud becomes heavy, it descends. Descends means comes down. That is, in the form of rain, it comes down to the earth to lave the draughts. That is, lave means wash. To wash the draughts. You must have seen the earth crack when there is drought, right? When there is drought, the earth cracks. And then what happens? When the earth cracks, when the water falls on it, you must have seen there is so much of happiness all around. The cracks that disappear, the beautiful flowers that bloom, the dust particles which are put to the grounded to the earth, right? So it washes each and every atom of the earth, right? That is, the whole earth is washed by the rain when it falls on the earth. Okay, so this is the life cycle of the rain. That is the water cycle. It goes up in the form of vapor, it stays there in the form of water droplets in the cloud, and then it comes down in the form of rain, right? And all that is in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. Now the rain says that when you sow the seeds, and if the rain doesn't fall, there is no germination of the seeds. So the rain is a must for the growth of the seeds. So if I would not be there, if I would not fall on the earth, the seeds would not germinate. They would remain in the latent form, in the unborn form, right? That is, they will not germinate, they will not grow. So for the fields, water is necessary. For the crops to grow, the water is necessary. So the rain is a must for the growth of the seeds which had been sown by the farmers or by the people in the land. So The rain says, so the seeds need water and it helps them to grow. And forever, by day and night, I give back life to my own origin. Now here the rain says that day and night when I fall on the earth, I give back life to my own origin. The origin here is earth. And when the rain falls on the earth, it gives life to it. Right? It is very natural. The seeds which are on the earth, they are going to grow. So that is life. The flowers that are going to bloom, that is the life. So it gives life to the origin. Rain's origin, that is the earth. And make pure and beautify it. So the earth is made beautiful and pure by the rain. How it is made beautiful? See, the flowers, the crops which grow in the field, the trees, the forests, everything which becomes so beautiful during the monsoon season. So it beautifies the earth and it makes it pure. In the rainy season, you must have seen how pure it looks all around, because everything seems to be washed off. So it's all pure and it's all beautiful. So not only the nature, but also human beings, the animals, everyone becomes very happy. Okay? And in the last two lines which have been put into parenthesis, that is the brackets, for song issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment and wandering, regged or unregged, duly with love returns. These are the two lines again told by the poet. Now he has put the last two lines into bracket, right? Because these are the observations made by the poet and his thoughts, right? Because there is a similarity between what the rain said and what the poet thought. The rain said, I am the poem of the earth, right? Where the author says it is the song which is issuing from its birthplace. As this song gives pleasure to the person who is singing, whether it is heard by others or not. If the people hear that song, they also become happy, right? You hear this song and you become happy. Whether the people hear it or not, whether they listen it not, regged or unregged means heard or unheard, right? Whether it is heard or unheard, it comes back to the place where it has originated. That means the song comes back to the person who has sung it. That means he becomes very happy. His heart is all quenched, right, with the thirst of music. The rain also, which comes back to its origin, that means the earth. So it comes back to its original position, origin with a lot of love for its birthplace. Whether it is needed or not, whether it is heard or unheard, like this song. So rain also comes on the earth. It is for the beautification of the earth. People who are interested in the song or not, it gives happiness to the person, to the singer. The same way the rain also comes back to its origin, who is very happy to get the rain. Okay? The cyclic movement of the rain is expressed here, as we have seen, the everlasting and the perpetual, the continuous. Perpetual is continuous, and it is the cyclic movement, the water cycle, which has been described in a very beautiful poetic manner in the poem, right? The rain which gives life to its origin, right? And then the comparison between rain and music, because both of them, they are the eternal sources of joy, and they continuously give joy to the people, not only persons but each and everything. Okay? Now, in describing each stage of the water cycle, the poem pays homage to the restorative power, that is to regrow, right? That is the power to live, that is the restorative power of the natural world. and how it nourishes humanity as rain nourishes the earth. The earth is nourished so that the seeds germinate and give food to the people, right? The flowers to beautify the earth, the same way as the song gives lots of happiness to the people who hear it. So there is comparison between the song, poem and the rain, right? So it is, the rain is an extended metaphor, a comparison with poem, right? It is a life of the rain is very much similar to the life of a poem, and both are very important for human beings, for the world. It nourishes and it gives restorative power to the world. Okay, the word meaning, who art thou, is who are you, and eternal, it is never ending. I have given you the meanings, right? Wrecked or unwrecked, it means whether cared for or not cared for. It doesn't affect the rain nor the poet if someone listened to the rain or not, right? Literary devices. Apostrophe is where you address to the innate object, right? Of course, this is not a traditional apostrophe. Apostrophe is beautifully expressed by in other poems, like West Wind by P.B. Shelley, where he addresses, "Oh, West Wind." So that is addressing directly. Here, the poet has addressed to the rain, but the rain has responded. It has given the answer. So it is not the traditional apostrophe, but however, it is apostrophe. Personification, the rain has been personified. Metaphor, as I told you, the poem or the song has been compared to the rain. Okay. Hyperbole is exaggeration. Bottomless sea. The sea, as we know, we all know that it has the bottom, but here it is said bottomless. And imagery, as I told you, soft falling shower, where we can imagine the soft falling shower. So this is all. This is a beautiful poem about the rain, and as it is rainy season right now, you may directly connect the poem to the surrounding, right? So go through the poem, learn it, and try to appreciate the beauty all around us, because we are, as human beings, have the sense of appreciating the beauty all around us. As the poet says, we are nourished by the poem, right, by the song. We are, as the earth is nourished, as the earth is beautified by the rain, as rain gives life, the poem also gives life to us, right? So that's it.